Hello, and welcome. My name is Eddie Breen, and today we're going to talk a little bit about communicating between cultures. There was a gentleman named Steve whose company had a lot of business in China, so he decided to take a class to learn Mandarin. Now, Steve was pretty confident going into the class because he had a roommate in college who was from China, and he'd learned a little bit of Mandarin from him. So the first day, Steve goes up to the instructor and says to him in Mandarin, "Good day, how are you?" Well, Steve then took his seat and left the instructor with a rather confused look on his face. Following the lesson, Steve again went up to the instructor and he explained what he learned from his friend. Well, the instructor asked him if his friend happened to be from Western China. Well, Steve was surprised and asked how he knew. The instructor explained that in the Western dialect, what Steve had said could be interpreted how he meant. However, in the more common dialect, which they were learning in that class, Steve had said, "Good day," and proceeded to drop the Beijing equivalent of the F word. When dealing with different cultures, it can be easy to lump groups of people together, whether it be out of ignorance or simply laziness. When the situation with Steve ended well enough, but what had happened if this had occurred in his work? Communication across cultures has always interested me. My grandfather was a naval attaché in Japan, and he had diplomatic dealings with people from many different countries. And he always stressed to me the importance of considering the individual and not just the generalization when dealing with different cultures. This is where Steve made his mistake, and it's a mistake that we could all easily make. We all deal with different cultures every day, whether it be different nationalities, different races, or people from different socioeconomic levels. And when you allow yourself to buy into assumptions about them, you face consequences ranging from awkward to outright hurtful. However, these problems can be easily avoided. It is always important to listen. But when you are dealing with people from different backgrounds, it becomes vital. You have to practice active listening, being intentional about observing their words, their tone, and their body language, seeking to understand them from their perspective and not with any preconceived notions. Understand what makes them unique and what you have in common. Some people are proud of their culture, and they see it as a huge part of their personal identity. Others don't like to be put into a box or labeled as any one particular thing. By being intentional and active in your listening, you can connect on a more personal level regarding what matters to them. Well, this all sounds like a pretty minor change. The results can be incredible. It allows you to engage in deeper relationships with those outside your own culture. This broader social spectrum broadens your own ideas and your understanding of the world around you. It allows you to avoid miscommunication and isolation from other cultures. I invite you to join me in changing the way we communicate with others by simply listening to them and not to generalizations we may have. It is easy to do, but it can save us from division, from hurtfulness, and sometimes even from violence. Let us avoid these problems and grow better together. We would all be wise to remember the words of Tennessee Williams, who wrote, "I think that hate is a feeling that can only exist where there is no understanding." I think that we can all agree that there is far too much hate in the world. Let us listen to each other and leave no more room for hate.